So I get into the audition hall and I audition. I was asked to wait. I get back into the hall, audition again. Everyone else auditioning for that role was sent home. I was the only one standing, so I was so sure I was going to get that role. I was called back. I was asked what my date between here and here is going to be. Like I said, I'm free. Are you allergic to anything? No, I said, I'm not. Are you willing to train? I want to train. Let's go. We'll get back to you. 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months. Nothing, dead silence, and the movie's out. And it's not me, So it's part of being an actor.
Hello, my lovelies. Welcome to yet another amazing episode of the Blue Bow Pod, brought to you, of course, by Golden Morn. I'm your host, BB Ray, and as usual, you can expect some controversy, some giggles, some banter, some information, and premium entertainment. I can't do it alone, though, can I? Joining me today, I have got product designer extraordinaire. Help me welcome Emeka Maduakonam. Hello.
Hi, BB.
It's good to have you here.
Yeah, it's
We're going
good
to
to
talk
be
all
here.
things tech.
I guess.
Let's go. Also joining me today on the Blue Bow Pod is AMA Award nominee, filmmaker, and Nollywood actor, Chimezie. I had to run your accolades. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know what, guys? It's really great to have both of you here because today we're going to be
Same.
talking all about the golden factor.
Right.
That is that it factor that sets you aside from the rest. It's what makes you stand out as a star. And you guys are both equally stars in your own rights, in your respective fields. So once again, welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Sir, let's get right on into it. Let's talk a little bit about disappointment, specifically looking at things that perhaps you have worked hard for, prepared for, and maybe not gotten. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh, story of my life.
No, your life.
Oh, my God.
Let's talk a little bit about that. When you have prepared for something, you've put your heart, your soul, your everything into it, and it maybe just didn't quite go the way you wanted it to, how were you able to pick yourself up again?
Being an actor, and I'm going to speak for myself. You go into an audition hall I try to go into audition halls with very little or no expectation, so to speak, or entitlement, sorry, because as much as I'm prepared and I think I deserve the role, everyone else there deserves that role too.
Right.
So I remember one incident, a very popular film that's out. Great film. No name
Are
mentioned.
we're not going to name it. Are you
No,
sure?
we're not going to name it.
Fine.
So I get into the audition hall and I audition. I was asked to wait. I get back into the hall, audition again. Everyone else auditioning for that role was sent home. I was the only one standing, So I was so sure I was going to get that role. I was called back. I was asked what my date between here and here is going to be. Like I said, I'm free. Are you allergic to anything? No, I said, I'm not. Are you willing to train? I want to train. Let's go. We'll get back to you. 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months. Nothing, dead silence, and the movie's out. And it's not me, So it's part of being an actor, such things happen. As much as you think you deserve it, sometimes it doesn't come. And there's nothing you can do about it. You just keep going and just keep pushing. Knowing that it's not your fault. It's not about you.
Right.
They're just decisions that didn't favor you.
Okay, but you know what? Building on those sentiments of maybe it just wasn't about you, do you feel like everything happens for a reason, or do you feel like maybe you just weren't prepared enough for that particular opportunity? And you know what? I'll ask you.
All right. I would say that it's not necessarily about how much you prepare,
Okay.
because I think there are some things that are out of your control. And that's just the basic truth. If you come to terms with that, you'll be at peace with anything that comes up with it. I know it sounds funny, but it's just the plain truth.
Right.
So you say probably now you prepare so hard for to do something, and you eventually don't get that role. There's a lesson to be learned from that. You did something, you put in yourself, and there is something they call, I read back some time ago, Schrodinger's cat. It's from quantum mechanics.
Yes.
So it says something about two things can actually be right at the same time. Depends on where you come, so the perspective comes. And that's where serendipity rather comes in, or synchronicity. When you see yourself losing this, it prepares you for something that probably
Right.
we get probably
Will
in the future.
Something in
happen.
front.
Yes,
Yeah.
something
So
else.
so I think it's more or less like a lesson rather than feeling that disappointment. Like you said earlier on, entitlement. If you don't feel so entitled to something, in the end, you have that peace. Like, okay, man, it didn't come. I mean, we can't kill ourselves. We have to
Right.
let
Just keep
go.
it moving.
But I feel like that doesn't necessarily mean that you're feeling entitled to whatever it is. I think it just means that it's human nature for us to put our heart to something or on something that we really, really want. Perhaps you've worked really hard for it and you really, really want to get it because you feel like you've worked the hardest. So it's not necessarily entitlement, I don't think. I feel like it's
Why,
just
why
you.
do you, why do you feel you worked the hardest?
Exactly. You're just setting yourself setting yourself up for disappointment and
Yeah.
heartbreak.
Why do you feel the other person that got it didn't work harder?
So, what do you feel like your mindset should be when you're going into these situations that you're kind of putting yourself out there? Because as an actor, I'm sure when you go to auditions, that's essentially you putting yourself out there.
Right.
And as a product designer, I'm sure when you're, perhaps if you have a client, you're submitting different versions or things that you've created for them that they can pick from. That's also kind of putting yourself out there.
Do you know what? I think if you do what you love, like you're passionate about what you do what you love, I think that's one golden factor.
Right.
Yeah, if you do what you love, you wouldn't see everything as disappointment. The truth is, I think the way Nigerians have their brain are wired at this point in time, I think because of maybe the way things are now, is once you put, you have to get. But the truth is, it's not always like that.
Is
It's
most
not-
is you most likely
Yeah,
you might not get.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
When you put like too much effort or a lot of effort, you think that you deserve that. But being honest, I mean, someone else might have worked better. Maybe he had someone that knows someone who knows. But
Right.
I mean, but the truth is, if you love what you do, I mean, you come out from there, you raise with your head high. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's where I was coming up from the
Yeah.
entitlement.
And I totally agree with you.
I mean, starting out in Nollywood for me, one of my biggest mottos have been keep it moving. Because you could have lots of heartbreak being an actor.
Yeah.
Starting out, I was schooling in Bauchi, Abubakar Tafebalewa University Bauchi, and I'll take night buses to Lagos for auditions.
Wow.
And get no's
Wow.
and take night buses
That's a lot.
back.
Back to Bauchi. Wow.
So
Okay.
I built this resistance to no's means nothing to me. It's
Yeah.
just no.
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
what's next?
Keep
Just
it
moving.
pushing.
Yeah.
Character development. So no's actually might or should not be seen as a bad thing.
No, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't be seen as like a hard no. Maybe I just not right now.
Funny enough, I got to a point where I started loving no's. I don't know how to say it. Yeah,
Okay.
honestly. Because when you
Okay.
it goes to a point where you don't tell me a no, I'm surprised because the no you tell me makes me prepare more for
the
the
next
next one.
yeah.
So I'm like, you told me no, right? The next time I'm coming, it's gonna be big, it's gonna be better.
Absolutely.
You know, coming into this career path when I started the whole thing, I mean, I could say I applied for almost 1,000 jobs,
Right.
Nigerian, outside the country, and all that stuff. But you know, that it got to a point that you apply now, and the next 1 hour you just receive, no, please, we're sorry. So, but now, then, like you said, building that resistance, the truth is, there's nothing you gain from just sitting down.
Absolutely. You need to put yourself out
Yeah,
there.
it is
no
just
matter
there's
what.
nothing you gain. Like you get, so I just continued putting myself there and seeing how I can bring myself, like she said, out there,
Yeah.
to the whole thing. And it was an unexpected. I did it absent-mindedly, like, oh, Emeka just applied, and that was how the first one came in. It was actually a gig, and it was like, wow.
Okay.
Called me, and the I actually put the price, or rather what I need to do for the person, I reduced it just to get the job. And he called and we had a conversation, and he liked what I said. You guys put one or two,
Some English,
arrange-
some sprinkle.
And yeah, and eventually I got it. Then I had this, will I call it imposter syndrome? Getting into that thing, like I just like, am I good enough for this?
Yeah.
And the truth is that feeling is not bad. It means you're not stupid. Do you get me? Like, it means you're not really stupid, because the truth is, if you go with so much confidence into doing something, you might end up disappointing the person and your esteem goes down. And I don't think anyone wants that.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
valid.
yeah, so I had that syndrome and took the first call, like the first meeting with the developers to get acquainted. I said, I'm just a normal human being, like, striving to get to perfection. So that
At
was
the end of
it.
the day, you probably learn more from no's than you do from yeses.
Yeah.
The no's that you get, at least if you can get constructive criticism back, it can teach you how to adapt, how to build, and how to become better.
Sure.
So the next time you can hopefully secure a yes. Now, there was something that you touched on, Emeka. You touched on perhaps knowing somebody, connectivity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Connectivity, does that also count as a golden factor? Having that connect somewhere, knowing somebody somewhere, having that client somewhere, you know what I mean? Is that really how the world goes around?
All right. So, in all honesty, it depends on how you want to see connection now. Now, it could be now that a lady that cleans for you, just saying, knows someone and probably heard you on the call because you're being nice to the person and connects you to that person. So it doesn't have to be that.
Person
Yeah,
herself,
you get
yeah.
that. Like be a medium. That's one.
Yeah.
And I think the way Nigerians see this is, I must know one person, which is, you must know one person. Or
You really do. So it's
just have to.
important then.
Yes.
So it is a part of the golden factor.
I was coming to something.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, because the truth is, in Nigerian context, you just have to. That is just the truth. I mean, it's not just about your brilliance. It's not about what you can cook up in Nigeria. I mean, if, say for example, an investor invests into a company that you applied for, and he has, so I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, and you applied for that job, and you think that you're better, like your resume and every other thing is top notch and all that, and you just know that you're going to get this job, and the guy brings someone, say, Alpha, see, this is not my guy, please, he's this, but it might not be so good as you yourself, but he has already gotten that job because he knows that person. I think nepotism is something that works so well in Nigeria. I wouldn't know if I would say it's good or bad, but I don't think in moral sense it is wrong. But the truth is, you just have to be that person. You have to be that person that knows someone. Yeah, so to get there,
I mean, okay.
I think
Go ahead. Because I don't know if I 100% agree. I think that
No,
well,
fine,
I don't think having connection is a golden factor. However,
Okay.
I think it's an important privilege. For myself starting out, I did
okay.
not know anybody. I just had my heart and my mind in the right place, and I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sound proud, but look at me.
Look at me now. I'm an award nominee. I see you.
I envy people who have connections.
Right.
Come on, there's no trophy given to people who suffer.
Right.
getting.
If I could know someone in Hollywood today, or I know a Leonardo DiCaprio, I'll just call him, bro, what's up?
And you know who would call you after? Me.
Exactly. I would just keep it moving. Our lives would be good.
Yeah.
But also there is this feeling of, I got this because I deserved it sometimes. There's this feeling of, like today, I don't think anybody would wake up one morning and say, I made Chimezie emo. I don't think anybody would say that. And there's this feeling you have when you worked for where you are.
I get where you're coming. I get where you're coming from. Trust me, I do. But the truth is, being blunt about it, I agree with you 100%. I mean, I wouldn't say someone pointed me and said, I did this for you, or I did this. I mean,
And there's nothing wrong with that too.
of course.
I mean, there isn't, but I just feel like, when you earn something
well,
on merit, it just
Yeah.
goes a
I
long way.
worked to be where I am now today. I don't think anyone carried me, say, please, my boy be this, or help me. No, I didn't. But being factual and truthful, honestly, I think for acceleration of growth, it's just the truth. I'm not trying to say now that it's supposed to be, but it is what is.
I mean, I think that you're right. I think in Nigeria, there's definitely a whole lot of nepotism and connection, using
the world,
connections to get to. Yes, let's actually be honest. In the world, everywhere. But to say that I personally would count having a connection or, nepotism or whatnot as a golden factor. I don't think so. I think that it's an external helper, if you will,
Yes.
But the golden factor for me is something that is within me. And that is the resilience. That is the ability to pick yourself up after you've been told no countless times, to continue on, to improve your craft, to improve yourself, and to just keep on pushing. And also developing yourself, making sure that when opportunity meets luck, you're prepared, you're ready to put your best foot forward to the people that need to see it, I guess you could say. Anyway, guys, with that being said, I do think it's time for the games. It's game time. So right here on the Blue Bowl Pod, we do play a game called Blue Bowl Picks. So yes, you at home watching, you know what time it is. It's time that we pick a question from the Blue Bowl. And all you need to do is make sure that you answer the question correctly. Head on over to our social media and comment the correct answer under the latest post to be with a chance to win some amazing prizes. Are you guys ready?
I think so.
Okay, let's go.
do this.
Okay, so who would like to do the honors of
Tech
picking?
bro.
Tech
would
bro.
you want to do that?
Let's go. Please pass it to Tech bro. Drum roll. Oh
I
yeah,
just pick anyone.
pick anyone.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
I should go now, yeah?
Please.
Golden Morn is an all-family cereal. True or false?
Is that a question?
Is Isaac? Don't give away the answers. Anyway, if you think you know what it is, you have heard the question from the man. Head on over once again to our social media to comment the right answer in the comment section of the latest post to be with a chance to win some goodies. I want some goodies. I know that you guys probably want goodies too.
I'm gonna comment
It's not
the
for you.
answer
It's not
so that I can win.
You have multiple fake pages.
They will
I know
know,
the
they will know,
answer.
they will know it's you, don't worry.
Back to the conversation at hand, guys.
Yeah.
Still on the topic of the golden factor. Let's talk about this notion of, oh, it's not meant to be. Is it a real thing? Do you believe that when an opportunity, I don't want to say passes you by, but let's just say when an opportunity doesn't quite align with you, do you believe in this whole idea of, oh, it wasn't meant to be? Or are you more of the opinion of, maybe I should have worked harder. I could have gotten it. I can achieve everything and anything, aspire to perspire, drinking crown come, if I had just worked harder. What do you guys think? We'll start with you.
I'm a strong believer and I try to be a hard worker. So before I try to put my hand into anything, I try to give it my best.
Right.
So that when it doesn't work out, I can say,
You tried your
I
best.
tried my best, but just maybe it wasn't meant to be, But some people just say it wasn't meant to be when they haven't tried so much and they haven't given their best, They didn't go prepared.
True.
So that's just a lazy fallback for me. For some people, sometimes it's just a
Okay.
lazy fallback to say, maybe it wasn't meant to be. You got there late, bro. No,
Yeah.
that's why it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But for me, once I do all I'm supposed to do, I work hard, I kill my auditions, I'm there on time, I go prepared, and it doesn't work out, then maybe it just wasn't meant to be.
Wasn't meant to
Yeah.
be. I like that. I like that perspective. I never really thought to see it that way. I was like, it doesn't work out. Maybe that's just somebody kind of being lazy because
Yeah.
that is true. You might not actually put your best foot forward. How about you? What do you think?
All right. I think I'll say yes and no. Like, I'll put it on both ends. It's still coming down to that principle I said earlier on, the Schrodinger's principle.
Yes.
You will never actually know whether it is just the truth.
Right.
Whether it was meant to be or never meant to be. Like, it's more or less like you drop your key with a friend and you said you'll be back in 3 days. Yeah? Now, the person might throw a party, might scatter the house. But the truth is, you will not know if he did or not. It's more or less like going into a different realm of, let's say, metaphysical now. Let's put it this way. Since it's not meant to be, you can say, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I'm in a lazy place. If you say it is meant to be, this is the way normally you would think about it. If you say it is meant to be, you got it. That means I tried harder. But the truth now is, what if someone else tried way better
Harder
than
than
you, but grace followed you and you just got it? So
Right.
it's more or less like here and there. So I wouldn't say, but like you said earlier on, don't put yourself at a place where you will be lazy to actually get what
What
you
you
actually
want.
exactly.
And
There's
also not
something-
being hard on yourself.
True, but there is something that you touched on that I want to revisit, which is the idea of grace. And just something popped into my head. Okay, we're at 100%. What percentage of grace do you think accounts and plays a factor in success? What percentage of grace, hard work, consistency? How would you guys kind of like break it up if you were to?
Do you think there's a roadmap to that?
Do you know, I don't think that there's a specific roadmap,
isn't,
but I
yeah.
do think that, like, of course, grace plays a huge part
Of course.
in everything.
I mean, if you're a believer, not everyone believes
Yeah,
that.
true.
Right, right.
You know, and I respect people's belief.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But for me, I'm a strong believer, and growing up, we usually say, "Oh, do your best, and God will do the rest."
Right.
You know, so I still have that in my mind when I'm working. You know, I try
Yeah.
to do my very best. You know, because heaven helps those who
Help themselves. But even, you know, taking a step away from the religious aspect,
Yeah.
there is also some people believe in the universe and,
Yes.
you know, things like karma. So grace, when I say grace, it's not just necessarily
Biblically, yes.
biblically,
No, get
religiously
you.
inclined. It's actually just being in alignment with vibrations, frequencies.
Yes.
I'm about to start doing
Yeah.
hippie talk.
No,
Well,
of
you
course.
guys know what I
Yes,
mean.
Of course,
I
of
do.
course.
Yeah, so what would you think about that?
Yeah, actually still line with him because
Hmm.
honestly, growing up, my parents brought me up in that way. You know, there's part of the Proverbs that said, a man can plan himself, but
Right.
God has the last say. So the grace we're talking about here now, it's insufficient. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yes, that's the word, insufficient. But there's some things that maybe your creator or the universe wouldn't want you to have at that point in time, so it doesn't really
Yeah.
affect you in the future, you know.
Got you.
So that is how I actually say it.
Okay.
From experience, I've missed some things and gotten some other things better from the same people. I missed the last thing.
That happens quite often.
Yes.
That happens
and I'm like,
quite often.
thank God I didn't get it.
Yes, because you know what? This was much better for me in the long
This
run.
literally happened to me like last week.
Yeah.
I actually had something I thought I was already get it. Like it got to the last part and it was a problem. I felt very bad about the whole thing and
Yeah.
picked myself up. And I got something better. So yeah, it's still the same line aligning with that synchronicity and serendipity, you know. That works.
Now, it's clear that you guys are both individuals that have faced a lot of yeses, but also quite a number of no's.
Right.
So what inspires you to keep on pushing? Despite the setbacks, despite the no's, I mean, you said literally just last week, you know, something that you wanted, it didn't quite come through for you. So what would you say inspires you despite the no's, despite the challenges? Because let's face it, right? Nigeria, it could be quite challenging. There's a whole lot that's happening
Yes,
in this
a lot is
place,
happening.
you know, and in all the different industries. Because I mean, we're from entertainment, we're from the world of tech. There's a whole lot happening. So across the board, what would you say keeps you going?
I'll say doing what you love.
Yeah.
As in it's when
Finding
you
your
come-
purpose.
Yeah.
That's an underrated privilege.
Thank you.
not know.
Very much
Thank
so.
you.
I have a lot of friends who are not doing what they love.
Right.
Yeah, so
Oh,
doing
spot
what
on.
you love is a huge privilege that we do not, appreciate so much.
Yeah.
I think building on that, doing what you love, getting paid for
Wow.
what you
True.
while doing what you love.
true.
Being able to make a living and support yourself.
True,
while doing
but you know that doesn't really come in immediately. Do you get? That's why I said I came up. Yes, sometimes.
Sometimes.
But
But then sometimes grace comes in and it do.
And the pay is coming
Straight
in.
away.
Why I put that out there because I mean not everyone will face the same experience.
Right.
Yeah. So the thing now is doing what you love
Right.
to always attract the rest other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and when you get good at something continuously, you'll be sought after, and I think the rest will come in.
Absolutely. What do you guys think it is about each of you individually? I'm gonna ask you to toot your own horn. What sets you apart? How do you feel? What do you feel like you? What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? What do you? Let's shake the table.
I don't want to sound very cliche, but for me, there's passion.
Right.
I don't want to sound cliche, but there's passion for what I do, and my heart and my mind is in the right place, and I think that counts for something, And I just love the work that I do. I genuinely love it. It's one thing to just a lot of people are in need to get famous.
Right.
I don't like fame, honestly.
Fair.
Yeah, I like to live my life normally.
Okay.
But
Emeka,
I love,
like, you sure about that, bro?
you don't believe
sure
me.
about that, bro?
But I'm being honest. So it's my heart and my mind. I put my heart and my mind in what I do, and if that isn't enough, I try to be professional as well.
Yeah. Fair
I hope
enough.
that's enough on the table.
Fair enough. How about yourself? What do you feel like you bring to the table?
Well,
Has anybody ever asked you guys that, by the way? What do you bring to the table? Lagos men. But anyway, carry on. Go ahead. What do you bring to the table? Go ahead. You tell us.
I would say the same passion. Passion for what I do. And that empathic nature I have, I think that has helped me grow in my career a lot because my career is centered around users, centered around empathy. So
Right.
that passionate part of me, that empathic, I bring that. And also, I don't really know when to stop. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Like when there's push, then sometimes you actually know that you're trying to break a barrier.
Right.
Yeah. So some people usually go back and just relax and I'm done. But I don't really know how to like sit back or lay back. I might stop.
always on it.
Yes, I might stop a bit and just take a breath and continue until I break that ice. So I think that's
So you're willing to just keep on persevering, go the extra mile. And I feel like if we're talking about things that set us apart, I think that's what maybe sets me apart as well. I am willing to go the extra mile and keep on pushing to achieve, aspire to inquire to inquire.
Aspire.
But
You're good at what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're doing all of this.
Yeah,
you're
true.
good at what you do.
Now, it's clear to me that you guys are both extremely successful. And I think it's fair to say that behind a lot of success is undoubtedly a lot of no's as well. There's yeses and then there's quite a lot of no's. And that's honestly how you learn. So what keeps you going even after the no's?
I mean, I think I genuinely love what I do. And the love for what I do keeps me going. There are days I wake up, there are days I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, final.
Yeah.
And I wake up the next morning and I'm like,
Let me not.
to it.
I lied.
I really like
I'm coming back.
I relate to that as well. There are some days you just walk and tell yourself because the stakeholder will say, no, I don't want this. I want it this way.
Yeah.
Go do it. I want it this way. Now there's some stubborn people, trust me. And you'll be like, don't they do this thing? Yeah, baby, I go, maybe I get out or something, But in the end, you just see yourself maybe just move the mouse. Just do like this.
You just do it.
Like
You
this.
spin the block.
Before you know it, you started.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's
just
like the
passion.
toxic relationship.
That's what I was about to say. You're
Thank
honestly in a toxic
You're
relationship.
fighting today and tomorrow you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, come now, let's just
Going
fix
back
it."
to the ex.
So at the end of the day, I think it's the passion.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Passion.
Rejection isn't easy, but at least with a full belly of the king of breakfast, I'm talking about Golden Morn, of course, you can take the rejection a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And of course, it will help you maintain the pace for you as you get your yeses
Yes.
and your no's throughout the day, throughout the weeks, throughout the months. But hopefully, we get to a stage where the yeses are a whole lot more than the no's. I'm looking for more credit alerts and less debit alerts. Help me.
works.
God help us all.
God help us all. No.
Anyway, with that being said, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on the Blue Bowl podcast today.
My
Thank you for
pleasure.
having me.
Did I say you look good today?
Oh, you didn't, but you know what? Thank
Come
you.
on. Baby, do you know her?
Do you know who I am? Blue Bowl potholes.
love
I
that.
mean, but yes, once again, thank you so much. You guys look pretty good too, since we're all toasting each other here. I mean, why not? Anyway, with that being said, thank you so much for joining us. It's been on and popping. It's been a lit episode right here on the Blue Bowl Pod. Once again, I'm your host, BB Ray. I'll catch you guys next time. Don't forget to stay golden. Bye.
Hey, Charles.
It's so hot, Auntie. You'll get used to it.
Yay!
What's the big deal? It's just a cereal. Just a cereal? You're talking about something that has helped thousands of Niger farmers provide for their families for decades. This cereal, we have enjoyed it for so long. It's part of our history.
Is that you?
And it's packed with the energy and nutrition that I know my family needs every day. That's why Golden Morn is so special to us. You get it?
Keep enjoying Nigeria's favorite breakfast cereal fortified with Grain Smart, a special combination of iron and vitamins to help your family make every day golden.
I get it now.
Nestle. Good food, good life.